We're here, brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, welcome everybody. This is Doug Reed with the Let's Go Show. Just to let you guys know, the Let's Go Show is a platform to encourage, motivate, inspire individuals from all walks of life. Hold space for leaders and public figures, celebrities like the one I have today, and we're just going to have a conversation. First, I'll just introduce my guest, who's actually Andre Charley. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
All is well. You up in the big D, as they say. What up,
Yes,
though?
sir. What up, though?
Hey, but so Dre, we're going to jump right into it, man. So tell us about this event that you have on July the 12th through the 13th at Wayne
Yes.
State University.
Man, I have an event that I have been so blessed to bring to the city of Detroit called Manifest. We're exploring identity, the struggle, and the power of men of color. It is a mental health symposium spread over 2 days to kind of give individuals an overview of what mental health looks like and what support looks like, what healing looks like, what work looks like, what struggle can be, and working through all of that together, man. Looking at men and women on a panel to discuss Black love, to discuss trauma, to discuss what it feels like when are in connection, relationships, friendships with others, with brothers, and with sisters. It's a lot of dynamics, man. I packed a lot in the 2 days, brother.
Yeah, hey, and tell us what is the cost for all this?
Yeah, so we have $40 tickets. We also have, hey, buy one, get one free, bring your friend. You can do that. And also, if there's some financial struggles, we could talk about that. You have to send us a message individually and we
Mhm.
can work it out. However, the cost is $40 and you can definitely bring somebody along for that $40. We need you to register through I guess Manifest Detroit dot eventbrite.com. So it's an Eventbrite registration, and we'll get you your information and let you know. It's at the Art Block on Friday night, where we will have a soul food dinner with hot
Mm,
food, man, desserts, man, and we will have spoken word, we'll have entertainment, we'll have inspirational speaking, we'll have poetry, we're gonna have art, actual artist by the name of Bryce the Third. And then Ari Cranford is bringing a motivational message for us. So
mm.
we got a lot of things going on Friday night to kick the door in. And yours truly may do a line or two. And then we'll prepare for the next day where we have workshops, breakout sessions, and a lot of good stuff going on with the keynote speaker coming from Hill Harper.
Come on now, and tell us a little bit about Hill Harper. I know he's an icon there in Detroit.
Man, he's an icon here doing great things, man. He has always been, working with those who are disenfranchised, those who have been challenged in life. He's been hitting the ground running for years, and people are maybe just now learning about him. But, he wrote books for brothers, Letter to a Young Brother, Letter to a Young Sister. I met him probably 20 years ago, and we took my mentor group out to talk to him, and he talked to our kids, and he's autographed their books, and he's been the same from that time to now. He's really personable, and he has got a little event going on where he is running for office here. But that's a little separate from what we're doing.
Right.
And he's also an actor. He's been in several movies.
Wow. So you're trying to tell me on Friday you have uh, all these guests, soul food dinner. You got some artists, maybe some spoken word, and then on Saturday you get panels, all these discussions, and all this is only $40.
$40, brother. We have tried to keep the price low. We've got sponsorships so that we can make sure to offer this for everyone because we would like for everyone in the city to come out, man. It's designed for men.
Hmm.
We're allowing women to come because women support us in a way, those that wholeheartedly support us, come on out. And provide information, knowledge, share, partake, listen, sit back, gain information, whatever it is. We're going to actually have a good time as we break through some barriers, tear down some walls, and kick some doors in.
Can you tell us a little bit about your sponsor?
Man, I've been blessed, so blessed to have not only Wayne State University with their School of Social Work, their Black and Latinx student initiative, male student initiative for social workers, as well as the School of Social Work Association of Black Social Workers. There's a student organization there, so I have all of that support. And have the American Psychiatric Foundation Association Foundation, who's come in a mighty way as well to be able to help us keep the price low and provide all of this for 2 days for $40.
Man, you can't beat that for $40. And of course, I plan on attending that event as well. And and I'm excited about it. You talking about exploring, um, the male identity, the,
Mhm.
the the struggle, and the power. Can you kind of break it down like one by one, like the male identity?
Yeah, man, just knowing who we are, our heritage, our understanding of man and what that is and what we bring, our physical well-being, looking at us in totality, social identity, our construct, where we land. Just exploring that part and that portion is important. And we have been faced with challenges. So there's no sense in talking about who we are without talking about how we face with our daily struggles, our habits that we may have, whether it's with women, drugs, sex, gambling, whatever vice it is, looking at disparities and how we show up every day and how the challenge can be becoming and being somebody that we've never seen modeled
Mhm.
for us. So, we're going to explore a lot of that and how our mental health can be impacted because, man, we leave out the door if we have, which many of us have, multiple stressors and pressures to hold the household together. But then you walk outside and that's a whole nother set of issues. And then you go to work and that's a whole nother dynamic, and you may have something to do at the gym, or you may have, some other clubs you're part of or whatever. But navigating all of those spaces also require a lot of mental power. And you
Yeah.
come home and have to navigate that too. So we have struggles.
Yeah,
And
but you know what, Trey? I think about the identity piece.
yes, sir.
One of the because we have this, I guess you would call this superficial identity
Yeah.
that we put on, maybe in public or as we go about our regular lives. But then we have that, our personality that who we are, our characteristics of who we are, our traits, our values, our beliefs,
Yeah.
and then we have that inner, that inner soul that we deal with that nobody knows.
And nobody knows.
Nobody knows that, and these are the struggles I think sometimes that we have because it's almost like you know. And I think and I don't even think about this, man. I got a poem called "Take Off the Mask." Maybe you'll let me peep that,
Man,
but
I think you should, have
because
present that.
I say that because I think a lot of time when we talk about identity, we put on this mask, to cover up our scars and our wounds. And it sounds like you're going to take a deeper dive into that.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely great that you share that because, and I thought about, how the poem "We Wear the Mask." We absolutely go and we have a facade and we have this thick skin and we have this shell that's inside that can be hollow, but we may look good on the outside. On the inside, we can't stop thinking, processing. We're broken, abandoned, feel trauma responses are feeling our everyday because we have been harmed or touched as a young kid, and we haven't been able to tell anybody because 1 in 6 are estimated to have been sexually molested young boys have
Mm,
been, but is believed to be even 1 in 3. So it's a really big, dark area that nobody is discussing because it's not safe.
right.
We don't feel like we can discuss it openly. So We want to make sure to give space for all of the vulnerability and have people understand that this is a confidential space as well. So
Hmm.
we'll be working through all of that as we navigate that day. We will only go as far as people are comfortable going, but we
Yeah.
definitely need to leave the availability open for anything, because we're looking at on the other side of the pain and trauma is healing and life.
Right. Now, and you're gonna bring out this thing to help us better understand identity. And I know there's gonna be some stories that's told, some lived experiences,
Indeed.
and now we talk about this struggle. Who, I mean, as a black man, or a men of color, the struggles that we face, I know, which
Mhm.
can include, the racism, the discrimination, economic equality, all those things that we struggle with. How are you going to dig in dealing with our struggles? What does that consist of?
Yeah, so we're actually addressing a lot of the areas. So we have individuals that will be able to speak to how we have financial issues or how we have credit issues, those plagues that keep us stuck and going through circles and not allowing us to actually see a good day because we're plagued with the consequences of our decisions. So we have mental health therapists that are available as well and on program as well as on the panel discussions. And we have the individuals that actually deal with mental health issues
Mm.
and may have been diagnosed with heavy diagnosed mental illnesses. So, and because there is a difference, we all deal with mental health every 24 hours. We manage our mental health, how we get through the day, how we respond, should we respond, what way we respond. All that is a part of mental health. Paying attention to our triggers. And then you have other individuals that may actually deal with mental illness and
Mhm.
psychosis and things that have to be supported with medication and talk therapy. Some
Mm.
just talk therapy. So it depends on what you're dealing with. A lot of people that have neurodivergent issues may have to have support of medication, whether they take it or not, that's on them. But there's a lot of areas that we need to have support and compassion to understand this. So that we're trying to bring a lot of awareness so that we can move forth and through healness.
Wow. I mean, all that. I mean, all this in one weekend. It sounds like this was going to have to be something that you do, what, maybe on an annual basis. I mean,
Yes, definitely on an annual basis, and we're going to probably have to do some mini sessions or something throughout the year because it's important that we keep this going. It's like maybe I was reading like for Detroit, like it's so interesting. We got a lot of situations and problems and concerns when it comes down to mental health.
Mhm.
So we have, say, in the fall, there was a study, a Gallup study done. It was like 6,000 respondents for the city, but they had about 12,000 respondents with the city and surrounding areas. But, I'm really concerned about the city. So
Right.
you have about 26% that had been diagnosed with depression felt like they were able to thrive and have wellness and kind of like access throughout their days. Then you have 40%, 40 plus percent that have not been diagnosed with depression and felt like they did not have the resources or access to kind of navigate their daily life. And I would guarantee that out of that 40%, the majority of those probably would be diagnosed with mental illness or depression or anxiety of some sort, and they probably do not have access to health care, so that they have not been able to get diagnosed, and or the stigma attached to health care, period. We
Mhm.
aren't going to the doctors, we aren't going to therapy appointments. We only may go to the bar to drink, stay at home, stay isolated, go to the club, hang out with our homies, play the game, video game. but not really seeking professional help because we feel like we have been mistreated in the past or can't trust the system. So you have that going on, and then you have other individuals that mask it and don't even realize how bad it is for them.
Right.
It's
That-
tough. It's a lot of areas that we need to hit just because of the city of Detroit.
yeah, and I even draw, the last thing about the power, the power of a man,
Mhm.
understanding, or examining the power that we have, because as a man we're taught to, really lead.
Right,
We are the providers. Uh,
right.
but a lot of times, I think in being those providers and being the stronger one, we kind of neglect how we feel.
Yeah, we
How do
do.
you how you going to touch on the power of a man?
Understanding that we have our own identity
Mm,
and understanding that we do not have to present as strong all the time. It is okay to have bad days. It is
hmm
okay to struggle. It is okay to not want to talk and be around people. Not staying there is is the issue. Not having you just stay and be debilitated in that state, but helping you to understand that through maybe even awareness, education, health awareness, community support, there may be through your own group that you work out with, but you may not talk with, you just work out with, and getting support. So getting feeling empowered to get that personal sense of agency together so that you can understand that you have the ability to actually make it, you possess within you the ability to overcome some of the struggles,
hmm
but you got to acknowledge it and be aware because if we ignore it, we never address it. And a
Wow.
lot of individuals are ignoring what we're faced with. So you cannot deal with what and cannot heal with what you will not reveal.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes. You will never be able to make it. So understanding that we can have triumph over our challenges.
Yeah.
And but it takes work. Not to say this is gonna be a snap of the finger, and don't be scared of the work. It may appear to be something that's scary. You may be fearful. You may feel like you're cool and don't need assistance.
Right.
However, you know that you are impacting your relationships because if everyone is walking away from you, or everyone is saying you have an issue, or everyone's saying that, oh, are you gaslighting me? Or if everyone is
Mm.
saying, bro or sis, I can't actually deal with you today. Why can't they? If
Mm.
people are giving you those messages over and over, chances are there's some things you have to deal with within
We
you.
need to unpack, right?
Yeah. And it can't be, I'm just going to stay by myself and not deal with anybody because nobody understands me. One of my mentees had posted years ago, I know I'm from another planet.
Hmm.
Are you? Or are you just dealing with a lot of trauma that hasn't been unpacked and you get the residual because when you bleed on other people, they wipe it off and throw it back on you because it's your blood.
Wow. Come on, Dre.
So,
Now let me ask you now. I mean, why manifest? Why title this manifest?
man, it was out of prayer that I came up with that. And it's a transformation, man. Transformation, even at the most basic level, though. So, we
Mhm.
have, like we talked about before, some things that may be locked in, covered up. So, I want to ignite some people. I want to help be a building block. And like I told you, if I want to kick down some doors, tear down some walls, rearrange some things, redo the construct, and help others navigate and move forward. So it is the time. It is now. You can do it. And I'm just here to help people understand through ACEs, you don't have to be stunted. So you may have had an adverse childhood experience. Many of us have. I think about 40% have at least one. So
40%?
I think it's about 40 have one, and
Wow.
it's Yeah, it's up there that at least one though. So,
Yeah.
there's a long list. And I'm going to be sending out with the confirmation emails. I'm going to be sending out a link from my girl, Dr. Victorious. She
Mhm.
provided a link for me to send with the confirmation to have people do the ACEs. And in a confidential way, I just want to
Right.
get an understanding of the themes that may show up from the ACEs being filled out, and that helps shape some of the programming on that Saturday as well. So
Wow.
it is important, but it's a way to kind of help us navigate and move through life. It's phenomenal, but ACEs
Truly
doesn't have
coming
to
into
stump you.
manifestation, right?
Yes, coming into true manifestation, what it is you see in your mind, you can be.
Now, Dre, I know. Well, how long have you been a therapist?
I've been a therapist for let's say since '09. I was officially maybe '05. I started my training as a therapist. So after my master's degree and pretty much started therapy in '09 on my own and started navigating with families and individuals and family reunification and went on from there into private practice.
Yeah, so this is not something that, you just jumped into because, somewhat, mental health is the
Right.
buzzword now.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
no
you've been
man.
doing this for a number of years. I mean, was this something that you always vision, or you just kind of, you know, fell into it? Or how did that work?
Right. It was kind of like a fall in too, actually. I knew that I wanted to help others, and I knew that I could help through the way that I was helped because it only made sense. I learned in through my mentor now, even to this day, it is through he was my band teacher, and through music. I learned some release because this is an individual whose ACEs score is probably a 5, I think. And so I've been through some things and learned by playing music in band how it actually can impact and unlock some doors that I didn't really realize to get some reprieve even in high school, especially after I started learning classical and how that can impact you in playing because we would have to either talk or listen to classical. And so I wasn't talking. So classical it was.
You know
And
what? Let me. I just got to give a. There's a guy that was actually on the Let's Go show. His name is Chris Boardman.
mhm,
And that's what he does. He takes classical music and he wants to get it out to schools and university as a means to deal with your mental stressors.
yeah,
So I can only imagine. I mean, me myself, in my younger days, we talking about the old '70s music. Then you talk about hip hop, but now, and I still love those genres, but
absolutely.
now I put on the jazz or I put on some, just the piano,
Yeah.
just to really bring things down. How much of a difference does music really make in you know in accordance with your mental health?
Man, it can reduce because it has a calming factor to it. So relaxing. So it's so you can meditate on as the music is playing. That's why it's important what kind you're listening to. You you're mellowed out, you're centering your body, your mind, you're allowing yourself to breathe easy, and you're just chilling. It's so
Mhm.
that allows you to kind of go,
That mindfulness.
and everything in you starts to relax. So that's where through playing was even more of a release when you really get into it and it's like, wow. So I played all the way through college and I was going to be a music teacher to help like I was helped. But then I
Mhm.
realized that there were other avenues and ways I can help. I didn't necessarily have to be a music teacher to help. So I started exploring other areas and learned about social work. I didn't know
Mm.
about it. I said through criminal justice, I had talked to my professor, and he was like, "Well, it sounds good because I was thinking, hey, I heard about this juvenile system and probation officers. Maybe I'll do that. And I met with him, and he said, "Yeah, it sounds like you really are into intervention, but you are more so into prevention. So what
Mm.
about going down the hall and talking with the social work department as well?" So he didn't take me and say, "Yeah, come on, I would love to have you in the criminal justice department." He said, "Go down to social work, talk to Nancy Udoff, and see what you think after that."
Mm-hmm.
Nancy's like, "Whoa, a black boy looking into social work. Yo, all right, I'll tell you what." She played it cool. She
Right.
said, "I would like to invite you to take the intro course and account for an
Mm-hmm.
elective. If for whatever reason, if you don't like it, it still count toward
Mm-hmm.
that, and you can kind of get an idea of it in full. I'll say
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have you, but I want you to make the decision yourself." And I was really cool with that. I'm like, "All right, cool. I got you, Nance." So I took the course. It was only me and another black guy in there. Everybody else was Caucasian females, and I was like, "Okay, yeah." But it was fun. It was cool. And he was a juvenile probation officer. So I was like, maybe I'll do that. Bro, when I went to fill out my change of major form, I was like criminal justice business something and wrote out social work without even realizing I wrote it. And I was like, okay, this is God. I guess it's what I
Wow.
do.
Wow.
Zachary, thank you, sir. Yeah, it is something, man. It did something for me, and I just went from there. And I realized that I could work in group homes and get experience because I was eavesdropping on the conversation. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
had offered someone else a job lead. He didn't want it. She was frustrated and jokingly looked to me and said, "You want a job?"
Mm.
And we started laughing, but I'm like, "Yeah, well, tell me more," because she doesn't know that I got to pretty much do this myself. My parents are gone. There's nobody supporting me to
Right.
that degree. I work 13 hours a week in the admissions office. I need some more income because I like to travel. I like to have a car. I like to go home. All these things, man. In college, it was ridiculous. So I ended up getting an interview and getting a job at a group home working with those males that have been removed from home or for abuse and neglect or through the criminal justice system that have been adjudicated and had to be spent time in the group home. So
Yeah.
from their behavior. So I
Wow.
worked that for a couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
finishing through college, and did my internship with that agency, which was the like our Child Protective Services. That was their Richland County Children's Services Department, and it was amazing, man. It was absolutely life changing to be able to. I spent 9 hours Saturday, 9 hours Sunday, so I worked weekends, except for the ones I begged my boss to let me go home, and he would cover my shift.
Great. Let me ask you. Let me ask you though. Now being in the field, social work, um, for quite a long time,
Hmm.
um, and then things. I think things shifted. And you helped me out. Um, I think there was especially around mental health and mental health awareness, even addressing mental illness. I think after the death, the murder of George Floyd, is when everybody woke up. I mean, what are your thoughts around that? Do you agree, or am I close? Or
Yeah, I agree because, and the reason why I agree is I started my practice here on my own. I was under my homegirl, and about 45 minutes away. And 19, I started my practice here, got an office opened up, and it was cool. I was sharing an office, but about the spring of 20, after George Floyd, the numbers of referrals for my colleague and I increased so much that we can no longer comfortably share
mm,
the office because we had men in particular coming in now. Their mother, their sister, their cousin, girlfriends, and all them wives may have called for them, But eventually, we need to talk to them. So they agreed to say they would like to be a part and do therapy and come in. And our numbers have been growing ever since. So
Wow.
I know that there was something that happened after George Floyd, whether it was Black Lives Matter, and a lot of emotions had arose, and we had recognized in our face that police brutality was so real, our lives were discounted so bad that they snuffed it out with a vapor and a knee.
Yeah.
And it was like, how can this be? And it brought about some trauma responses in a lot of people because we have been targeted for all of my life
Mm-hmm.
by police and
Mm-hmm.
pulled over driving while black. And other nationalities may not understand what that is, what that feel like, but it's not a good feeling. So a lot of people have started to realize that, coupled with being in their household, dealing with their family, their own issues started to come up and show up because you couldn't leave. You couldn't go out the door to
Because of COVID,
escape
right?
anything because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And we didn't know where a safe place was, but we were at home. And some wives was like, yo, something's up, bro. You really got to go see somebody. I can't deal with this because I can't escape you now. And
Mm.
some men I came because their wives was like, or their girlfriends was like, you need to talk to somebody. I'm gonna make the call. I'll find you somebody. And others was like, I'm realizing that there's some things going on that's not okay.
You know
So
what too? I think even for myself in going through therapy, and big shout out to Black Man Hill, giving free
yes,
therapy around the country,
yes.
um,
In Michigan as well.
in Michigan as well. You know, and I never took into account that my feelings were valid.
Right.
Even maybe inconsistent, or
Hmm.
but it was my truth.
Yeah,
So I had to accept that my feelings were valid and that they mattered,
they matter.
and witnessing, the murder of George Floyd, going through COVID, you know, uh, and that whole social aspect of being able to, there's a saying that I say, adjust, adapt, and overcome.
I like.
Going through that process, it takes a lot of inner strength. When we talk about, trying to identify who we are, the struggles that we have, and then of
Mhm.
course, kind of keening in on our power because, you know, as far as men of color, especially black men, we've been stigmatized, and desensitized, stigmatized and desensitized,
Desensitized big time.
to so much that's going around that sometimes we forget who we are.
Absolutely, bro. And walking around seeing things that are inhumane and not be moved.
Hmm.
The issue, people are getting shot and people are witnessing it and they're taking videos and they are talking about it as if they're watching a movie. Dude bleeding, he leaking, oh he got good, oh he didn't get up, oh he about to get got. And these are actually comments that are happening on social media as if this is not a real life. And the fact that it's posted is something else too. But it's very interesting how we are. I was even looking at a video today, and I said the fact that this is posted is a problem. The caption read, "If you're not like this at my funeral, then don't come."
Yeah,
And this dude's laid out on top of the casket, crying in a real type of situation at the cemetery, which was probably a dear loved one. Someone recorded that, felt like they should share that, and then somebody felt like they should put that caption on top of it.
yeah. And
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying how the grief and grief is and bereavement is really really a sensitive area if you haven't lost a loved one, a mother, a father, a sibling, you wouldn't know that real feeling, not
Mm.
on that level. And so it has you responding in ways you wouldn't have normally responded.
Yeah.
And so those are areas in which we want to support as well. But that's how we got to get a lot of individuals into therapy because they're realizing this, and people are passing, we're passing from COVID, and grandmothers and siblings, and it just was a lot of death,
Yeah.
and we couldn't go anywhere. There's only so much drinking you can do because you got to function still in the house because you can't go to the gym, you can't go hoop, you can't hang out with your boys because you don't want to bring something back home that could kill the next person in your family.
Yeah, and I think about just the importance of why you're putting on manifest, especially in the city of Detroit. It being a marginalized community, being able to uplift the community, being able to bring awareness in the community, and of course, even people. I mean, you're bringing in people. I know my guy Jason Phillips, who's actually from Detroit,
Big
but he's
city.
coming in from North Carolina. But you bringing all these entities into this weekend. What is the main objective that you want to get out of manifest for
Man,
people to get out of manifest?
yes, I want people to actually be able to understand and have insight, to gain the tools to make it, even if it's through the day, and do some reset and understanding that you have coping mechanisms you can use, knowing that you deserve more and deserve better, to help build capacity within yourself, that you are the one that can actually do better than the generations before and
Mm,
break the cycle. This is what it is. Fostering and promoting healing and helping people understand you're not alone, we're in this together. I'm from one of you. I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. And I just had information that I listened to and I went through and I got through. And I
yeah.
want to be able to help others understand that as well.
All right, Dre. If you can just tell us one more time the details of manifest. How do we register? What are the dates and where it's going to be held at?
Yeah, so we got a 2-day event Friday night at the Art Block. That's going to be over at 1411 Bolton. That's right by Huey Ford Hospital. And that's where all of the fun is going to be for real. We're going to explore what this good soul food is going to be like. We're going to hear this manifested word for that's coming from R.A. Cranford. We're going to listen to Bryce the Third, who's going to kick some knowledge, have a few spoken words. We have a couple poems that's going to come forth as well, have vendors as well. And on Saturday, the main event will be at Wayne State University, where we will also open up with an individual coming in from, it's not Jersey, out east Connecticut, and in your field, who is a retired corrections officer,
Yes.
bringing the noise, looking
Ah,
at corrections, mental health, first aid, and how that can impact and affect other individuals who are incarcerated and who return back to society, and what they look like and what they feel like. Ah, yes, sir. Clinical student, clinical psych. Yes, sir.
yeah.
I want to talk
Zachary
to you.
shot big, and big shout out to Zachary Simon. He actually was on one of my earlier shows, Zach will definitely be in contact with you. I'll be in contact with you, and I'll get you linked
Yes,
up
yes,
because
sir, man.
yeah, we will. Definitely
Zach, you
looking
can fly
forward.
on out to Detroit next in 2 weeks, brother. Come on, jump on in.
Yeah, we definitely going
But
to get
oh,
them.
I got Wayne State is at the McGregor Memorial Conference Center, and that's gonna be, I didn't get a time. So 9 to 5 will be Saturday. It's
Mm,
filled. We're gonna enjoy the day. Come on out. Don't think of the time. It's gonna fly by. Let's get it. We got to
yeah,
do this. And Friday night is 6:30 to 10:30. But you can get tickets at Eventbrite. So looking at manifestdetroit.com, www.eventbrite.com.
Yeah.
Go in, bring a friend, get 2 for 1.
That's it. Looking forward to Manifest Detroit, July 12th to the 13th. Wayne State University, like Dre said, register on Eventbrite. Well, before we go, Dre, anything you like to share, any gems, something that you want to share, especially, as we going from day to day, we're talking about, manifesting or exploring, the identity, the struggle and the power. Anything, any last comment that you like to make to the audience?
Yeah, man, knowing that the responsibility falls on us. If it's something that you have the ability to control. If you're making excuses or you feel like it's everyone else, chances are it is you. Like Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. So I want you
Mm,
to kind of look at yourself and decide you want to make a change. You don't even need to know how, just
mm,
know that you want to. Come out and we got you. If you need help, I'm at Affecting Change here in the city, Metro Detroit area. My Instagram is Affecting Change Charley. You can find me there. There is something to be done that you can get support and help. And guess what? It's not kind of what you envision in your mind. It's not something that you can um, look at the way therapy is presented on some movies and feel like, oh no, I don't want that, because it's really you drive it, your goals, your participation, and as Zachary said, nobody can save us but us. We are here, we are one of you. You want someone that's going to be culturally competent, even if you do not get a person of color, that's okay. You have individuals that can help that may not be a person of color. You may desire that, and that's okay. That is your right. And you can request that when you go places too. So just know that you have rights. Now, what I want to say to you and those that are listening, if someone is coming and trying to assist you, don't fight them. Try to listen and examine what they're saying, because they're coming
mm,
from their heart more than likely. And you may not like what they're saying, but just try to process later on what they said and the why. Looking at why is so important in every area. Why do we react the way we react? Why do we do what we do? Why do we say what we say? Why do we handle things the way we handle them? Why do we feel the way we feel? There is a reason. And a lot of times we ignore and don't understand that childhood shapes us. By the time we 8, we're pretty much set on who we are. Personality is there.
right.
But guess what else is set? Our attachment styles, whether we have had some abandonment issues, whether we have been trained in a way that we don't get what we need when we cried. Our mom or our caretaker didn't respond to us, or they responded us with anger. And so we retreated and withdrew. And guess what you don't do? You don't cry again. Or
Mm,
when you're wet, you don't let anyone know, because the last time you did, you got yelled at and you feel uncomfortable. Even at 5, 6, 8 months, you will not remember this. A lot of times you don't even know that your parents they were great people. They did what they could. So don't
hmm
think that because they may have done some. A lot of parents have operated the way they can operate, and they worked with what they can work with, and they have also had issues and traumas as well. So don't hold that against them, because it is not your fault about what happened to you, but it is your responsibility to deal with it, correct it, and do the work. So your parents did what they did, as that part is done, but you can stop the cycle. And so
Right.
that's what we want to get to.
Yes, sir. I mean, that sounds like accountability of your emotions. This
Man,
has been Andre Charley, straight out of Detroit. What up, though? With
what
the
up, though, boy?
manifestation synopsis symposium going on July 12th and 13th at Wayne State University. This has been Doug Reed with the Let's Go Show. And you know what we say? Let's go,
Peace.
baby.
We
Peace.
out.
We out.